In this video, I will provide you with an easy method for forming a small set of concrete stairs. And in my opinion, this is the easiest possible method for those of you who are looking for an easy method. And our stairway will have 7.5-inch risers, so we're going to be using 2x8s for the boards, and stakes you can usually pick up at your local lumber yard or make these yourself. And of course we're going to have some stakes going into the ground and then some side pieces here, but you can always just use additional stakes here also if you're looking for additional structural support to keep this thing from moving. And of course you can always drive more stakes into the ground or even use less of them if that's going to work for you. And our stairway is going to be 36 inches wide, and our steps will be 11 inches deep. And of course, I will provide you with all of the measurements for the boards as we go along that you're going to be using for this particular stairway. Now, keep in mind that this might not work for your project, and that all of the pieces might need to be modified to work for your project. So let's go ahead and get started with building our first frame. And you can simply build this frame right here, the 2x8s that you cut, set it on top of a flat surface, and then assemble it, and then bring it into place. And what I would advise doing in a situation like this would be to drive these stakes in first, and then level the front or side of the stairway first. So for example, if I level this side of the stairway first, then I can put a couple of screws in here to temporarily hold it in place, and then go to the front and then level this. So you're going to have this one here will already be level, and then you're going to level this piece here, and then you'll level this one here. So you need to kind of work your way around. You can level the front one and then the two sides, or level one of the sides and then work your way around the perimeter until everything is level. And not only does it need to be level, the measurements need to be the same from the front to the back, and that won't be too difficult to do. You're just going to measure this before you drive the stakes into the ground. And if it was me, what I would do, like I said, is start in the front, drive a couple of stakes into the ground, and then level it, and then put one screw in this stake, one screw in this stake, and then square one of the sides. So let's just say I'm going to take a framing square and make sure that this side is square. Then I can drive a stake into the ground, level it, and then put one screw into this stake into the form board here, and then simply measure over from here to here, and then drive this stake into the ground, and then put a screw into the form board through the stake after you have leveled it, and then take the level and work your way around and double check that everything is level. And then after you're satisfied with it being level, you can take the next section and position it where it goes, and then firmly attach it to the stakes with some screws or nails. And of course that'll be on both sides. And you won't need to level this as long as you level the bottom boards. And the 2x8 is the same size. Then you can position the last piece and attach it to the side pieces. And of course you will do that on both sides. Now another thing I want to point out here is that you might be able to drive a nail or a screw at an angle to firmly attach this board to this one here. And of course you could do that on all of the necessary sections to prevent this from moving. Or you can grab another board and attach it like we did here to create a nice connection here. Now you won't need to do this if you're satisfied with the sections that they are not going to be moving when you are pouring the concrete. And of course you can drive more stakes into the ground like I said, and these boards here can be stakes just like this one here. And of course you can move this one over or drive 3 of them in here, 1, 2, 3, because the last thing you want to do is have the form boards move while you're pouring your concrete and finishing your stairway. And for a set of stairs like this, you probably don't need any rebar at all. However, you will need to do something else before you pour the concrete, and that will be to put some type of an oil on the inside of the forms. And you can usually do this with a paintbrush. You're just simply going to paint some type of an oil. It can be almost any type of oil, but the one that I used to use the most was a vegetable oil. It's a cooking oil, and it worked great. Just make sure that you put a lot of it on, because the more you put on, the easier it's going to be to take this stuff off and not pull the concrete off and ruin your stairway. However, for those of you who do want to install rebar, let me provide you with an easy way to do it. And the first step in this will be to pour a section of concrete about halfway up on the first step. So if our step is 7.5 inches, maybe somewhere between 3 and 4 inches. And then you can simply lay the rebar on top. That way you won't have to hang the rebar with wires and stuff like that. So again, this is an easy way to install rebar in a small stairway like this, or any stairway like this. Now the rebar does need to be a minimum of 2 inches away from the sides, and that will include the front, and it should be at least 3 inches away from the soil. And since the porch in our example has a concrete footing, I can run the rebar up against that concrete. And to do this, you're simply going to lay one row first and the other row on top, and it doesn't matter if you reverse this. And no, these don't need to be tied together. However, it could be. You could use wire to tie all of this together and then slide this in underneath the riser above here, and I don't see a problem with that. But this is a method I've done in a variety of different situations, including when I was building a waterfall in my backyard. And then you're simply going to repeat the process by setting the rebar on top of your next layer of concrete. Now keep in mind that I'm not suggesting that you do this over a 2 or 3 day period. You're going to want to pour this all at once, because I don't want to give you the impression that we're going to be pouring this in sections, letting one dry, then pouring the next section. We want to pour it all at once and then strip the forms and finish the concrete. And then for our last step, we can use 2 pieces of rebar. And I'm using number 4 rebar here. You could probably use number 3 rebar if you wanted to. And in this example here, I'm giving you an idea how we filled it up about halfway and then set the rebar in. And last but not least, we will need to fill up the last section of the concrete stairs. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at estimated ratio, because to achieve precise SI requires careful measurement, consistent material quality, proper mixing techniques, and curing conditions. And let's not forget that some projects will require you to consult a concrete professional or an engineer. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. And first on the list is that we need to make sure that you understand what a part is. And this is going to refer to any unit of measurement, like a shovel or a bucket, as long as it's going to be consistent for all ingredients. As far as water is concerned, you need to remember that the amount of water significantly affects concrete strength. So use the least amount of water possible to achieve a workable mix. As far as gravel size goes, generally the maximum gravel size is going to be 1 inch. However, the most common is going to be 3/4 of an inch. And the size and shape of the gravel can also affect the concrete strength. And let's not forget that proper curing is essential for achieving the desired strength. So keep the concrete moist for at least the first 7 days. Next up, let's take a look at a 2500 PSI mix. That's going to be 1 part cement, 3 parts sand, 4 parts gravel. And you're going to use 5.5 gallons of water per 94-pound bag of cement. And as far as a 3000 PSI mix goes, we're going to reduce the amount of gravel to 3 parts and reduce the amount of water to 5 gallons. And for a 4000 PSI mix, we're going to go with 1 part cement, 2 parts sand, 3 parts gravel, and 4.5 gallons of water per 94-pound bag or sack of cement. So it isn't too difficult to figure out that a little less water and a little more cement is going to create stronger mixtures. However, at the same time, a little more water can make the concrete a lot easier to work with. And in the last section of the video, for those of you who do not really have a good idea how to mix concrete, then feel free to watch this. I will not be narrating it. It's going to be a visual video, along with the steps you will need to mix your concrete. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let us know by hitting the thumbs up button or letting us know in the comment area.